Hi, and welcome to the third installment of this topic that we've talked about for the last few weeks. Yes, I am wearing the same thing I wore last week and the week before. I do not usually write this far in advance, but the way that it was coming out of me, I felt I needed to. So, let's talk about blog entry 146. It's called You Think You Have Time. Now, since I seem to finish themes in threes, I think I'm finishing up this topic that I did start a few weeks ago. Now, several months ago, I was inspired by yet another meme. This one read, "I loved you like there was no tomorrow." And then one day, there wasn't. And I started working on a piece at the time, but some other sign or coincidence from the universe had me set that aside. And I guess it wasn't time to share this then. There's no time like the present. Now, how many times have you heard that and thought, yeah, I'll do it later? And then later, it never happened. Unless you're Scarlett O'Hara and After All Tomorrow Is Another Day, you've likely heard, never put off tomorrow what can be done today. But, as the Buddha once said, the trouble is, you think you have time. So we procrastinate and think, we'll get to it later. Later. Someday. Now I remember the first time I watched the Disney Pixar movie Up. I was expecting a lighthearted romp, but like many others in the theater, I found myself crying during that opening sequence and the dreams deferred until there was no tomorrow left. That someday never came for Ellie and Carl Fredricksen. Something else always came up. They never got to live their dream together of going to Paradise Falls, so there was Carl, alone, trying to live the dream for both of them. Now, if you've lost a spouse, you know exactly what that's like. I could no longer dream when I first died, and everything we did, everything we planned for it, it was a life that included us growing old together. When you're 28 years old and your whole life is shattered, how do you dare to dream again? And in a weird hindsight sort of way, I guess I was kind of lucky to have lost that ability so young. And as a now double that age, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have something to look forward to, which I'm actively pursuing. Now that's a lesson I learned after he died. You see, I learned a few decades ago that having a dream, a glimmer of hope or desire, of wanting something, helped to keep me going. I felt like Carl Fredricksen and chose to do things to honor his memory and to experience the things that we used to dream about. I allowed myself to think of a future without him. And at 30 years old by then, I believed I had a lifetime yet to live. And that's the thing. We all have a lifetime yet to live. None of us knows when that final breath will leave our body, and I believe that until it does, we should live. Now, Carl was an old man struggling to make his dream come true. I was fairly young at 30, and now I'm a middle-aged man finally dreaming bigger dreams than I have in the past 25 years. And I'm making memories pursuing those dreams. Now, do I expect everyone who's lost a spouse to be at that point where they can dream of a future? Not at all. I've said it before, experience your grief as you need to. Now, my cautionary life lesson is not to allow your grief to take over and to throw you into despair for 2 years like it did to me. My point for inspiration is that unless you allow yourself a glimmer of hope or the possibility of dreaming, falling into despair is very easy. It's getting out of that pit that isn't. I lost 2 years of my life in that pit and I saw no hope. I lost all my dreams. The only way out was for me to take massive action and change my life and my worldview. And I believe what caused that, the catalyst of that, was a dream I had of him where it felt like he was saying goodbye, but in retrospect, it felt like he was telling me to live again. Now, I no longer think I have time, and maybe it's just because I've doubled in age, but here I am, collecting memories nonetheless, and memories. And sharing my story with the hope that it inspires others to live their loss. To live with their loss. To live in spite of their loss. Live until the last breath leaves you.